It is the final time that Sky Blue FC will be playing here at Yurcak Field in Piscataway, New Jersey on the Rutgers University campus. They are hosting the Washington Spirit for their final home bout. Alongside Dan Lonetta, I'm Danielle DiGavanzo, and thank you for joining us here on YouTube. Both teams right now are probably the two most banged up in the National Women's Soccer League right now, Dan.
Early on in that game, here I am. Sky Blue was playing pretty well the other night in Portland, and then Denisha Adams, who was filling in at right back, she went out. They were playing with 10. They gave up a goal, and they didn't really recover from that. Now they have another brand new right back. Manya McCoskey will start in that spot tonight, and they're going to have to figure out how to stay healthy. The good news for Sky Blue, their midfield is fairly well intact, and for Washington, it's their back line that has just been hammered by injuries all season.
Both teams having injuries. There's a joke with Sky Blue that there's now a boot club going on, as Caitlin Ford is in a boot, Kelly O'Hara was in a boot, Lindsay Cutshall had a boot on yesterday at practice, and now Denisha Adams is also in a boot. So you may see them on the sideline walking around sporting the big black boot on either left or right ankle.
Yeah, it'll be easy to figure out which players are eligible to play, which ones aren't. If you're in the boot, you're not coming in. As far as I understand, Caitlin Ford's season is over. Kelly O'Hara maybe. And they got some good news about Denisha Adams. X-ray's negative, and they're thinking maybe she can play next weekend in Chicago. But right now the focus is Washington, and I think, Danielle, all the elements for an upset are in play here because Sky Blue is banged up. They're not playing real well. You figure if they play long enough, the Spirit will eventually win again. They're 1-13-4. They haven't won since May 16th. It's just a question of can the Spirit put together enough soccer to do it. They played Wednesday, and they basically defended the entire time. They probably could have played that match on half a field because they defended the entire time. At halftime, the shots were 19-0 in favor of the Flash, and if it wasn't for Ashlyn Harris, who hasn't always been great this season, it would have been more than 3-0. So I think this match has upset written all over it, but Washington's going to have to figure out how to play good soccer and how to keep Sky Blue off their back line.
And Washington has been up and down with all the injuries going on, and as you mentioned, in New York, we're only able to get one shot the whole game, which is a little troubling, but you look at Sky Blue on their side, they've only won one game in the last 8, and the only win was against Washington here on July 6th. It was a 1-0 win, Monica Ocampo getting the lone goal. Sky Blue FC hasn't been able to score in the last 3 games. The goal they got in Portland was an own goal.
Right, and I thought that would get them going because sometimes you need a little bit of a lucky break, and they had the free kick served in, and Nikki Marshall couldn't have hit it any better if she was trying to hit it on her own goal. No pun intended, because she got the own goal. And I did think it gave Sky Blue a little bit of a boost until the Denisha Adams injury and the Morgan goal, and they weren't able to really recover from that. I do think one win in the last 8 is a bit of a misleading number because the first couple were very good matches. They outplayed Portland here when the national team players had just played a few days ago. Then they came back and tied Kansas City in a match that they probably outplayed them, even though they were losing 2-0 and got the 2 goals. But certainly in the last 5 or 6 games, Sky Blue has been slumping, tailing off, however you want to put it.
Well, Coach Cabrera did say that the team looked better against Portland, and it was unfortunate that Denisha Adams went down and the team was not able to recover, especially on that right flank. Lindsay Cutshall got beat all day against Alex Morgan, and when you have a caliber player like Alex Morgan beating you constantly on the right side, it's hard to overcome that, and all 3 goals came from that side of the field. Yeah,
I liked how Cutshall was she wasn't backing down from Morgan. They had that little exchange. A lot of people felt Morgan should have got carded for kind of taking a little back-fisted swing at Cutshall, but you're right. When they came down to really playing, Morgan spent the entire second half in behind Cutshall, who, by the way, came in for Denisha Adams, and I thought that was as engaged as I had seen Alex Morgan all season. So I don't know if she's turned a corner or if she just said, "Hey, this is like playing a second or third level national team. I can get in behind this right back all day. So let's have at it." And I thought Morgan for probably the first time this season was the best player on the field for the Thorns, at least the first time since April or May.
And looking at the starting lineups now, Jill Lloyden will once again be in goal for Sky Blue FC. The stat sheet is a little misleading for her. She has given up 6 goals in 2 games, but you look at the Portland game, she had 25 shots, 12 of them on goal, and she only allowed 3. And even with those goals, she made a couple of fantastic saves, and unfortunately the ball eventually found its way behind the goal line.
And I thought early on in particular she was playing extremely well and had the defense very well organized. I talked before the last game that you can't always just say, well, the goalkeeper made a lot of great saves, so she played great and the defense played poor, because she's part of the defense. But I definitely thought Lloyden had things under control until it kind of spiraled out of control around halftime. And we talked to Jim Gabarra before, and he said that he went back and watched the game over again, and he seemed to upgrade his opinion of the performance after rewatching it. And I'm sure every coach likes to see that. So I think he's heading in the right direction. And part of his lineup choices today, he said, were to keep what has been a fairly effective midfield intact tonight.
And looking at the rest of the lineup now, Vanya McCoskey missed a couple games due to a concussion that she suffered with the New York game, but she will be playing right back, filling in that hole that's been plaguing ever since Caitlin Ford went down. Christy Rampone, Coco Goodson, and Kendall Johnson will round out the back four as usual. The three center mids will be Katie Friel, Sophie Schmidt, and Taylor Lytle, and up top will be Nayeli Braniel, Brittany Bach, and Monica Ocampo.
A couple of interesting points. It's ironic how right back for a while was one of the spots where you came to the park and you knew Caitlin Ford would be there. She'd play the full 90. Maybe she made some 18-year-old mistakes, but it was a pretty solid position. All of a sudden, she goes to play for Australia. Now she's hurt, and we've got a different right back starting, it seems like, every game. This is at least 3 games in a row with a different starting back. Now, McCoskey originally came here to be an outside back, but because Kendall Johnson played so well at left back and then Brittany Bach got hurt early in the season, McCoskey found herself as the defensive midfielder. So I think that should be a pretty decent spot for McCoskey to be in the right back. Now, Brittany Bach up top is interesting. She's got the physical game. Can she finish? Can they find her? Can she make the right runs? She played up top a little bit with the Soul in 2009. They had a player called Marta who played next to her. And with all due respect to Ocampo and Raniel, it's going to be a little bit different because Bach's going to be the player that they try to find. An interesting idea. I can't say that I dislike it, but we'll see how it works.
But I do like Sophie Schmidt dropping back in the center midfield. She is much more comfortable playing there, and she gets the ball more. And when she has the ball, things happen for Sky Blue FC.
Yeah, and you saw it in Portland. She's just way better off as a midfielder. I think we talked about it on the last home game when she was trying to play up top, and I think Jim Gabarra finally has come to the realization that whatever I do, I have to work it around Sophie Schmidt playing in the midfield. Doesn't mean she can't sneak forward, but I believe that this team is much better, and Sophie Schmidt is much better when she plays in the midfield.
And looking at Washington, their starting lineup, Coach Mark Parsons is switching things up a little bit. They normally play a 4-3-3, but this time around they're going to try to play more of a 4-4-2, with Ashlyn Harris starting in goal. She had a great game despite the 3-0 loss. Did a great job keeping Washington in the game in many ways. On the back four, you'll have Tori Huster, Holly King, Marissa Abeg, and Robin Gale. Robin Gale returning to the lineup since June, and then Marissa Abeg was a free agent, picked up, played her first game in New York, and now is getting the first start in her NWSL career.
And this is far from the back four that the Spirit were supposed to play. Candace Chapman in and out of the lineup, out again after the Boston game. Allie Krieger with the concussion is available, as she was on Wednesday, to come off the bench, but won't start. So obviously they don't think they can get 90 out of her. And if Sky Blue can get to the Washington back four, I think that the Spirit are going to have a hard time containing Sky Blue, because that is just not a group of players that you associate or affiliate with a top-level back four. It's not to say they're not trying hard and that some of them can't fill in nicely, but it's just not really a starting back line. In order for that to happen, they're going to need the midfield to play well, and it looks like Lindsay and Matheson, for the first time, will try, not that they haven't combined in the same midfield, but they'll tighten up and play closer to each other and really try to be the engine that drives the Spirit forward.
And speaking of the midfield, the four midfielders, you have Tiffany McCartney on the left, Lori Lindsay and Diana Matheson as the two center mids, and on the right will be Teresa Warbus, and up top will be Stephanie Oakes and Connie Pollers.
Pollers just scored for the first time the other day, first player in I don't know how long, besides Matheson, to score for the Spirit. Maybe that gets her going. When they played here in July, she missed a bunch of chances. I don't think she has been particularly effective, but she did get that one goal to go in, so maybe that gets her going a little bit.
We're going to take a quick break with the national anthem, but we come back. First half action with Sky Blue FC hosting Washington. Dan Laletta, thank you as always for joining me on the pregame show.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Yurcak Field, the site. Sky Blue FC taking on the Washington Freedom. Last home game of the regular season for Sky Blue FC. Brett Luthner, Eric Studnicki up here in the booth. First for Sky Blue FC once again, as Dan and Danielle had gone over the lineups before. Sky Blue FC, it's patchwork because of all the injuries, but it should be still a lineup that needs to get results here tonight.
Yeah, and this is a must-win. Out goes a few players, in step a few more. I really like that Sky Blue has set them up for a playoff push at the end of the season. The business is to be taken care of at home first. 2 away games to end the season, but you still have to like the spot that they're in the top 4 of the table. A very meaningful match is going to be played here tonight, Brett, for both teams. This Washington team's going to look in to try to get the 3 points. They played well the last time they were here, and for Sky Blue to secure a playoff spot, they need to come out, entertain, play attacking football, and really put their stamp back on the top of the table.
Now, Sky Blue, of course, coming in with the record of 9-6-4. Washington, on the other hand, a loss, and they will be locked in at the bottom of the table for the rest of the season. And really, for Washington, it's just a matter of, again, they've been decimated too with injuries, back line in particular.
Yeah, and those are one of the things that it's very tough to fix at this stage in the season in terms of putting players in spots that they're not accustomed to playing. It really needs a lot of work on the training ground to be synchronized, to be together and cohesive as a unit. But they have to make sure they come here tonight, they clear their lines, they communicate, they fight together the way they did here a few weeks ago to make sure that they can somehow be in it at the end of the game to try to pull out a result here tonight on the road.
Now, both sides, a lot of injuries coming into this match, okay? For Sky Blue FC, no Denisha Adams, she's out with a right ankle sprain. No Caitlin Ford, left foot sprain. No Kelly O'Hara, right ankle sprain for her. Lindsay Cutshaw's got a right foot sprain. Lisa Devano, right hamstring sprain. They're in as substitutes. We probably will not see them tonight. That's 5 players that have contributed, 4 major contributions, and the 5th one, just in the last couple of games.
Yeah, and at the end of the season, you could expect this from a lot of the teams where they're going to be going through the injury bug, but it's going to be that mentality that each of these players takes going forward. Can they step up and play their role in the rotation? That's the modern game now at this level. Someone goes out, someone else has to step in. We've seen it all throughout the season, whether it's been with the Sky Blue team or an away team that's come here that's been a little bit out of form and had some injuries. So tonight it's going to be Sky Blue's 5 players who are inserted in to get a real chance to shine, to try to secure a playoff berth, Brad.
We just got word just now that starting goaltender Ashlyn Harris injured during warm-ups. So we now have a change in the lineup. Chantel Jones, number 18, steps in to be the goalkeeper. Harris is on the subs bench tonight, but that's a big, big thing for Washington going into this.
Yeah, just chalk that up to another personnel loss for this visiting team, and certainly Harris has been one of the shining stars for this team during the season. She's been consistent, made some big-time saves, kept her team in games, and now you lose her. Now what can this Spirit team be thinking as they get this game started?
This goes along with Candace Chapman, who's out with a right knee sprain, Caroline Miller, right ankle fracture, Tony Presley, groin strain, and of course Colleen Williams, the last time these two teams were here, tore her ACL. She's done for the year as well. So, I mean, you're talking just decimation in these Washington ranks, and now Ashlyn Harris goes down with the injury. Robin Gale back. She's in the lineup, probably right knee sprain. Robin Gale's in the side. Allie Krieger coming off the bench there, concussion symptoms. But still, again, despite Ashlyn Harris playing so well her last time out, despite a 3-0 loss, just that's got to be tough for a team.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's got to create on the counter some excitement for Sky Blue. They know they need to go forward. They need to get players in advanced positions to create goal-scoring opportunities. They've been going through a slump themselves. This is a key game for them, and no better recipe could be on the table for them right now. A team that is devastated with injuries, that's been out of form, and really here for the taking tonight, Brett, for 3 points.
Our match officials for this evening, as you see them down at field level. Elvis Mamutovic is the referee. As I'm not even reading, even Bongart is the assistant, along with Michael Piercy. Hernan Aguiar, the 4th official for tonight's match. And, all it is we're about ready for game time here. And what the weather, we're hoping it holds out there is a 30% chance of storms. Well, right now it's basked in sunlight here, but there is a slight chance of storms to come through the area here. It wouldn't be a Sky Blue FC game without a chance of thunderstorms.
Yeah, and the weather here so far for this team that's been playing at home has been rather suspect tonight. They have a gorgeous night to play. No excuses for poor results. New mentality, a new season going forward with these last few games of the season, going into the playoff pushing for Sky Blue here tonight. It's really going to have a chance for them to showcase, to still show that they're one of the premier teams in this league. They have the confidence. They've been playing well at home, although they've dropped a few decisions over the course of the season. So this is a way they can get things back on track by coming out and securing a victory here tonight, Brett.
There's 2 other games going on tonight in the National Women's Soccer League. We'll try to update you as the night goes along. But for Sky Blue FC fans, this is the one that matters the most. Get the win tonight. Hope for results. Boston and Chicago, if they both do not get wins and Sky Blue gets a win here, Sky Blue FC will have clinched the playoff spot, and that's the first step.
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
Get into the dance.
Absolutely, as you said, Brett. Just make it to the playoffs. Home field advantage is one thing, but in a lot of ways, I think in the modern game, it's better to play away. There's less pressure. You're not expected to win. You can come out and you can set your team up defensively, perhaps use the counterattack as a weapon in certain stages, but one thing for Sky Blue, they're in a great position. Can they seize that moment tonight? Can they come here, play attractive, entertaining football, and get the 3 points that they need to secure that playoff spot, Brett?
To the chords of the Who. We're ready to go. Washington in the all-white kits going from right to left. This Sky Blue FC, I would imagine, won the toss here. Sky Blue FC in their all-navy kits going from left to right. Jill Lloyden, first start for her here in Piscataway. Her previous 2 came on the road. We are underway. Washington with the ball to start. And again, Sky Blue FC needs to get this result. That's the first and foremost here. Let the other games play as it were, as Washington gets themselves a throw-in early on.
Yeah, and you're going to see that. They're going to try to feature Stephanie Oakes up top, really allowing her ability to run off the ball, to receive the ball with her feet, to create goal-scoring chances. That's one of the things that this team that's visiting is going to try to incorporate very early in these stages, Brett.
And right off the bat, Washington trying to get something in, but it's cleared away. Brittany Bach once again with the soft wrapping there on her wrist that had been injured for so long this year. And here now comes Sky Blue FC through Ocampo. Bach making a run down the midfield. Brittany Bach trying to get onto this, but it's going to be cleared away by Chantel Jones. Early on, chance there.
And that was a nice play there by Ocampo to drop more centrally and receive that ball. Try to spring Bach immediately. She almost caught on to the end of that one there, Brett. But you can see what Sky Blue is going to do. Bach is going to feature up top of that center forward role, often at times switching with Ocampo, trying to interchange as much as possible.
And now Sky Blue FC once again far side. This is Schmidt. Sophie Schmidt's going to whip one across right to Jones. Ocampo, the intended target.
And that's exactly what Jones needed, just a quick handle of the ball just to get her confidence involved in this game. Late second addition to this team, as you mentioned before.
Washington looking to set things up, as was mentioned in the pregame, not too often. In fact, it's a change for them. They've normally been a 4-3-3, as their Spirit Select squad was in the W League. But tonight they're going with a 4-4-2 formation. A little bit of a different look here for Washington as they try to pick their way through.
Yeah, and that 4-4-2 will just provide them with defensive balance first.
And now it's Ocampo. Leaves it on off. Bach can't quite get there, though. And in the midfield, Washington comes away with it. Washington again going from right to left, so they're facing the sun in the first half, as has been pretty much the custom for Sky Blue FC, as Rampone goes back to her keeper Lloyden, who will clear it away.
And that ball was played there in the path of Matheson, but once again, Rampone able to intervene there. Reads the game so well, as we mentioned time and time again. That's her best quality for me.
And Huster puts it back into play, but quickly picked up by Ocampo. Bach leaves it on off. And now the Friels will just go on back. Over the top, not quite there for Ocampo. Picked up by McCarty. Tiffany McCarty, number 14. Takes a look, tries to take her little run on. Several Navy jerseys in the way, and then headed away. And Oaks now on it. Play back, not a great pass, and away comes Sky Blue FC. Foul's going to be called. And we might have ourselves our first booking in the match already, if not, at the very least, talking to there early on in the 4th minute. Foul committed by Holly King.
Yeah, and King really had no choice there. She was beaten for pace there, so tactical foul right there as Rampone's going to stand over this one, Brett. But you can see in the early stages, the interchanging of Sky Blue has caused some trouble so far for this visiting team. Let's see what type of ball Rampone plays in here.
Rampone's going to play it in. Nearly knocked on there, but once again, on it is Jones. And Jones will clear it away. Once again, Chantel Jones, a last-minute starter here, as Ashlyn Harris picked up an injury during warm-ups, and now Washington trying to come through, but Jill Lloyden clears away, only as far as McCarty. McCarty wanted to turn around, but instead was trapped there by Ocampo. It goes out for a Washington throw-in.
And you can see Sky Blue set up with Schmidt in front of the back four, along with Friels and Lido playing in those central areas. It's going to be very important for them not only to control the game defensively.
Oaks putting it across. It's going to be knocked away. Not cleared away easily, though. Comes on back. This one put over the top by Lindsay. Played down. Oh, there's a chance here for Washington. Ball put across to Oaks. Knocked around a little bit. Flag goes up offside. And 5th minute here. Spirit called for the offside infraction.
Yeah, Matheson popped up on that right-hand side this time. Played that ball ever so nicely into the path of Oaks. She could have, for me, shot that one to get a quick chance on goal. But once again, you can see the main threat for this visiting team is going to come through Oaks. Look for Matheson to run off her as well.
Manya McCoskey, number 22. First game back since sustaining concussion symptoms in Western New York. And normally she's played midfield this season, but she is normally an outside defender, and that's where she's playing, the right back tonight.
And so right at home she's going to field tonight, Brett. She's very comfortable on the ball.
Schmidt goes across. A little close quarters passing here before Friel sends it across to Johnson. Now it'll go back, and Rampone's got to give chase. 6th minute here in Piscataway with scoreless. Sky Blue FC and a Washington Spirit. Brett Luthner, Eric Studnicki up here in the booth. Dan Lauletta is at field level. We'll go down to him, of course, from time to time. Brittany Box on the ball now. Ocampo gives it on off the Friels. Katie Friels, we're going to go across with it. Just couldn't quite get it there. It's picked out nicely, but Lytle's on it. Taylor Lytle takes a look, gives the Friels. Now again, Ocampo, a little back heel for Friels. The shot didn't quite get all of it, and a couple players tumble over in the end, and Friels checks on her adversary.
And that time you could see Ocampo drifting into that central area, just laying that ball off ever so nicely for Friels. Couldn't get enough power on it to really trouble the goalkeeper, but needless to say, some nice build-up play for Sky Blue. They need that confidence. They need to maintain possession of the ball, find the flank areas, get your flank fullbacks involved.
Well, Boston Breakers just got the update, up 1-0 on the Western New York Flash. As that game as well as the Chicago game against Seattle, both started an hour before us. So we'll keep you up to date on those games. Boston, of course, trying to keep their playoff hopes alive with a new coaching change as well as this is played out. Throw in Washington. Of course, Boston now under Kat Whitehill's leadership, not just as the captain, but as the interim coach. As this one goes out for a Sky Blue FC throw-in.
And you could just see the quality on that pass there by Lindsay was overweighted there to that flank areas. But it's very important for the Spirit team to come to look to try to sustain some sort of attack of their own, try to pin Sky Blue back. Don't allow them to come forward so freely.
Lytle's on it now. And now Rampone. Christy Rampone tried a little too far for Ocampo. And now it's back. Washington regathering through Chantel Jones.
It's going to be very interesting to see as this game goes on what type of pressure Sky Blue try to apply. Is it going to be that midfield area pressing? Is it going to be higher up the field for a quick transition, turns to goal?
They're going to go over the top. They're going to try down the left side. Raniel's on it. Nayeli Raniel tries to turn, defended nicely. It's going to go for a Sky Blue throw-in, and Raniel will take it. Good job defensively there.
And I like that ball out to those flank areas, what Sky Blue's been missing over the last few games. They need to isolate the flank areas, go 1v1 as much as possible, get good service into those central areas.
Johnson with the long throw in. And right to Jones. By the way, Robin Gale was the one putting on the defensive pressure there just a moment ago. Just back from injury.
Yeah, and she's going to be tested along with this Washington backline all night as this game goes on. Can they keep that clean sheet?
Bach tried to turn a header towards Raniel, but instead Gale will play it across. 9th minute here at Yurcak. We're scoreless. Coming on to this one was Huster. Now goes back. Washington trying to go right up the sideline. Oakes leaves it on off. Here goes Polars. Connie Polars trying to take on the defense. Try to put a pass to her left for Oakes, but instead Rampone clears it away.
Yeah, and she had that ball on her right foot, Brett. She could have gone for goal for me and just created a challenging opportunity. She chose to pass out one of the path of Oakes, but Polars along with Oakes is going to be very troublesome tonight for the Sky Blue back four.
Houston puts it back in and nearly got it back. Instead, it whistled right by her, and the Sky Blue FC throw-in results.
And you can see Washington now is playing all their players within that Sky Blue half. Really, without Devanna, you could cheat a lot more. You could push your team up. You don't have to worry about that long diagonal ball with 50 yards of space behind you. You can condense the field.
Washington gains themselves a throw-in. Sky Blue FC had given vouchers to those who attended the Kansas City match last week. It was just so miserable out that they gave vouchers to those fans that came out and stuck around for that game. For this game here, the home finale tonight, as easily gathering here is Lloyden. So a nice-sized crowd. Last time we saw the wraparound here at the parking lot was when Portland was in town.
And it's important for Sky Blue tonight to play for their fans. Last home game of the season until the playoffs come around. They're not sure yet whether or not they're going to be hosting a game or going to have to go on the road. So a performance is needed.
First things first to get into the playoffs. That will be point number one. They need 3 here and then hope for results in other places. Right now, Boston's not cooperating. Back for it, Huster. Gives it on across to Lindsay. And eventually get knocked back to the defense there. That was the number 4, Ebeg. And then we go up the sideline and away goes number 15, Robin Gale.
And this Washington team's just showing some composure on the ball, connecting some passes through the midfield areas, trying to spring. Always one of the forward players at the end of it, but you can see the final pass is always going to let them down when you try to play 5 or 6 passes, Brett. So play a little bit faster through those midfield areas.
Rampone's got it from Lloyden. 12th minute, I should say, here at Yurcak Field. And again, they were saying 30% chance of thunderstorms, but right now it is beautiful weather here. Clouds are off on the horizon, but here at Yurcak, a gorgeous night for a soccer game. Sky Blue FC and the Washington Spirit. Now moving ahead with it is Lytle. Wants to go over the top, trying to find, that's McCoskey, who's come up from a defensive position. This bundles out, and it's going to be a goal kick. There's the assistant referee down there, Ian Bongard, actually came off the sideline there to make sure nothing untoward was happening.
And that was a good defensive play there by Tiffany McCarty, just shepherding her out of bounds. But McCoskey has to get forward tonight. She has to get into advanced position. She has to show a positive attitude. And really, since Ford has gone down, Sky Blue has been lacking that, playing that type of positioning.
And now, played out, throwing Sky Blue FC. And on the bench, on the sideline there, you can see Ashlyn Harris. Even though she picked up an injury during warm-ups, she is still trying to instruct her teammates out there where to be. Still trying to construct the defensive formation there, which I'm sure Coach Parsons is appreciative of. Gives them one less thing to worry about. This one over the top, and the flag goes up. Just offside a bit was Polars. And so Sky Blue FC gets a freebie here, free kick.
And so you can see that Polars is going to stay up as high as she can, Brett. Just try to pin up against those back 4 of Sky Blue, playing the shoulder to the last defender.
14th minute here at Yurcak. We will go down to Dan Lauletta shortly. Sky Blue FC and the Washington Spirit. Home finale for Sky Blue FC. Friels wins the battle. Johnson goes across Lytle. And 4 Spirit players surround. Good job by Bach to win the ball back, though. And now McCoskey tried to play for Lytle, but it was behind. The only place she could put the ball, though. And Washington did well defending there and will clear it away. Another throw-in for Sky Blue FC.
And that's going to be key. How much is Sky Blue going to pressure this team as this game goes on? They have to step up for me a little bit more. This Spirit team hasn't showed that they're the deftest of passing teams. Already 3 or 4 balls that have gone out of bounds with poor passing range. So you have to continue to press high, get Bach involved, get it to her feet, play off Ocampo, allow Lytle to get involved.
Actually, the Seattle-Chicago game just started at the same time we did here at Chicago. That's another result to keep an eye on, whereas Western New York and Boston got started at 6 o'clock. 3 games going on right here. Glad you can join us on YouTube. Brett Luthner, Eric Studnicki, Dan Lauletta at field level. This one trying to find down the middle. A couple players running, Ocampo and Bach, but neither was going to get there. And Chantel Jones will play it away, distributes via the ground.
And it was that quality of the ball, that final third, that has really plagued this team the last few games. That time the culprit was Reinhold, just under-hitting that pass there. She had Ocampo if she put a little bit further behind her, Brett.
Now McCarty plays it. Little 1-2 knock up there. Try to find Polars, but instead Rampone, so well as always, defending. Headed back in by Huster. Played now by Friels. He's going to go back to Lloyden, who waves everybody off. And now Goodson. Coco Goodson with it. The only player on Sky Blue to play every minute of the Sky Blue FC season.
And she's done a very solid job along with Rampone, and that's one of the reasons why when this team gets to the playoff levels, if they can make it, they're very dangerous. They have a good spine of the team.
There were 7 players that had played every minute. 3 of them in Western New York, but that might shrink as Bach is going down the right side. It's going to be played away for a throw. 3 Western New York players have played every minute until injury concerns. Last we had heard, Alex Salen didn't even make the trip to Boston. And, of course, Brittany Taylor is another one of those that played every minute, but she's on the injured list as well. And it'd be interesting to see if she gets to, if she has to get pulled out early.
Yeah, it's much easier nowadays for a back 4 player to make it through an entire season. They don't cover as much ground as the forwards do, as the midfield players do, especially in this league that's very physical, fast-paced. So for Goodson, you have to give her kudos for staying healthy, having the off-field habits to really maintain a good lifestyle.
Now Bach goes wide, McCoskey. McCoskey puts a service in, just not quite there. As Jones comes out to play it. Good idea there by McCoskey, though.
Yeah, I like that quick early service by McCoskey. You have to challenge Jones. She's just been inserted into the game. She's had 1 or 2 handles. None of the aerial type, though, Brett.
Let's go down to the field. Dan Lauletta, go ahead.
Hey, guys, I'm starting to think that Christy Rampone might play a little bit better on tired legs. Remember back to the Portland game here, she had played for the national team 2 days earlier, maybe had her best game of the season. Here she was on the West Coast, played 90 minutes on Wednesday night, and she's already made several closing runs on Connie Polars and one on Stephanie Oakes. On the other side, Diana Matheson, Lori Lindsay, with Matheson obviously playing a little bit higher, has been pretty effective so far. Sky Blue has yet to have any significant run at the Spirit's makeshift back 4, which now includes a rookie goalkeeper. Guys?
Yeah, good point. I mean, first to the point about the player with the ball now, and that would be Christy Rampone. It's just tremendous work rate, tremendous, just everything. Epitome of what a captain should be for your squad, and as he said, on tired legs, still able to play at a world-class level.
Yeah, and it's her mentality that really allows her to be the best at that spot. Her insight, her ability to read the run before it's made, to close down. She brings all the intangible things that you really can't coach, but it's things that she's been doing her entire career, Brett.
And not to mention the mother of 2. We can speak from experience in terms of fatherhood, but it's not easy when you go home and answer to the children as well. And but she's done it and done it at such a tremendous level for all these years.
And
On it now is Lloyden.
And one of the things that we mentioned is who's going to come up and take her spot within the U.S. national team setup. She's always penciled in. Very hard-pressed to find a replacement for her going forward.
Nice ball over the top. Raniel's going to try to run onto this one. She will keep it in and then earn her team a throw-in as the last touched by Gale.
And I like that run there by Ronhell. You have to pull the back four out. You have to get them out of position. Those diagonal runs to the corner flags are most effective.
Now up here is Johnson, Kendall Johnson. Takes a look, puts one across. Friel's heading it. Thought she had Ocampo running towards goal. Instead, Ocampo was coming back to display for her outside the area. And Washington clears away. Over the top, and Rampone with a leisurely jog and goes back to Lloyden. And now Oaks will peel off.
And those type of flighted balls played into the path of Rowan Poner, what she's made her living on. Very good interceptor of passes. Great at reading the game. And if you're going to play that way into the feet of the Spirit front line, you have to do a better job. Rampone's always going to outrun you, outwork you.
I think Rampone wanted that to go to McCoskey. Instead, she got it back and gets it up anyway. Ocampo played it back to Schmidt. Middle for Bach. Bach took a knock there. Hobbled a little bit, but she'll shake it off and play on. Johnson. And they'll go back now. Goodson. 20th minute here at Yurcak. McCoskey wants to go for Ocampo. She does well to control. Tries to spin around, but a good job defensively by Huster. And away comes the Washington Spirit. Midfield stripe now in the 21st minute. It heads on back and over the top for Oaks. Rampone once again backtracking so well and goes back to Lloyden. Now to McCoskey. And Rampone.
And at that right back, McCoskey's had plenty of time on the ball. She's going to get more involved as this game progresses. Look for her to get forward a little bit more, Brett. Contribute from her midfield areas.
Raniel just couldn't control that one as the ball sailed a little bit on her at the end there. And now Washington back in possession here. Huster. Give on up, and again, Sky Blue FC gets the possession back. Oaks trying to win the ball, but Rampone's got it. And what we're seeing now is once Sky Blue gets possession in their own half, there is hardly any pressure on them. Washington almost inviting them to come into the Washington half where everybody's behind the ball.
Yeah, and that's really been the
There we
adage.
go, a little too far for Ocampo. Go ahead.
Yeah, of every away team this season for Sky Blue, they tend to sit back, try to hit him on the counter, but Sky Blue's big problem in the last few games is really unlocking the door in the final third. It's really the quality of the finish and the passes in the final third that count. The rest of the build-up play has been good. They have a nice rhythm and tempo going this evening. Plenty of time on the ball.
This one now for Huster. And she'll go back. On it is number 4, Ebeg. And sends it on across to King. Holly King takes a little jaunt up the park, then goes on over to Gale. Gale gives it across Lindsay. Tries to go up. Washington's still in possession here, trying to build something. 22nd minute. Ball goes across. Houston will get up to it. Houston with it, goes across. Now diagonal ball put over the top flag, stays down, chipped it, and it's going to go out for a goal kick. Trying to get her chip on there in the 23rd minute. Couldn't quite tell who that was at the end.
That was Polars there.
Polars, thank you.
That was a great diagonal ball there by Houston. Just waited, and that's what happens if Ocampo doesn't pressure the ball. You can't give the back line enough time to pick passes out. Luckily for Sky Blue, they got away with one there, Brett. It could be 1-0 if Polars did a better job on her finishing.
Tried. Pretty much the only move she had was to chip it over the top. It just couldn't quite hit it accurately enough. Here's McCoskey. Now, McCoskey again couldn't win that ball back from the pass from Lytle. And Dan Lauletta leaves it off for Manya McCoskey to throw back in here. And right to Huster. However, turned it over. Lytle goes across to Schmidt. Schmidt gets knocked from behind. Foul's going to be called against Oaks. Not the greatest foul in the world there. And now Sky Blue FC with a free kick opportunity. And it looks like Rampone's going to come up to take it.
Yeah, clumsy challenge here by Oaks. A forwards challenge, as we would say. No need for that.
Rampone puts it back in a little quickly and then makes a run. Shot from distance, well off the mark, into the parking lot. Goal kick here for Washington.
Yeah, rather ambitious there for Lytle. If anything, you have to keep that one on target or make an extra pass. You have players going forward. A very difficult act to execute, keeping that shot low, but nice little set piece up back and through.
Once again, this is Sky Blue FC's last home match, last road match as well for Washington. They finished with 3 straight at home. Unfortunately, a result the wrong way, and they will be cemented at the bottom of the table.
And that's one of the things that they're going to look to do to get back on track is try to grab a point here or a possible victory. You end the season at home, the opposite of the home team playing tonight where Sky Blue has all to do on the road the next 2 games.
Schmidt goes up. Ahead now for Ocampo. Across Lytle. Lytle trying to control and then has to drop it back to Goodson. And you're seeing Sky Blue FC, even though they have a back 4, 1 defender as Rampone, a little too hard of a touch there, and Oaks heads in the other direction. Rampone does a great job of backtracking, though, and forces Oaks to bring it on back to McCarty. McCarty with it. As I was saying, well, I'll say it in a minute again, as McCoskey chests this one down and goes up the pitch. Bach gets wiped out, and no fouls called. And Bach is down still. We play on. Hard challenge there. Far sideline as Johnson defending and defending well and gets it away to Lytle. Bach just now getting to her feet. Much to the applause of the crowd here.
And that was a good challenge for me. Perfect timing there by Abeg, just making sure that she got there the same time as the ball did.
As I was going to start to say before all the turnovers happened, is you see in Sky Blue, yeah, they got the back 4, but one of those defenders, as usual, making the run up the pitch and trying to bring to the offense. It's almost like, yeah, it's a 4-3-3, but sometimes it morphs into something totally different. Yeah,
they're more like true wingers as they get into those advanced positions, but the most important thing is they have to get the service of the ball. Schmidt, Friels, Lytle, they have to find Johnson and McCoskey in those advanced areas to really open up this game so they can play around the back 4, so they can get some more flank play as this game goes on.
Sky Blue FC, Washington Spirit was scoreless in the 26th minute. And if I had waited another 5 seconds, it would have been the 27th minute. Either way, the Spirit come ahead here. And just like that, Lindsay had the attack snuffed out, but then tried to play through. Rampone read it well and gets on ball and gives it on up ahead to Lytle. Lytle pressured from behind, tries to split a couple, does, but not able to make the run over there was Friels, and so Huster's got it. And Lindsay will play it back. Number 4 is Marissa Abeg. Goes on across. Holly King with it. Further up, this one goes through. Polars plays wide now. And they thought they were making a run. Polars wasn't, though, and easily played back to Jill Lloyden.
It's going to be interesting to see as this game goes on. Are Schmidt and Bach going to switch positions? Where right now Schmidt is really playing that screening midfielding role. Bach's a little bit more advanced as Bach now drops back to receive.
There's Bach with it. Going over the top. Lytle's the one up top now. And now foul is going to be called. Will we get a card on Gale? That's the question. Gale's looking, saying, what did I do? And the referee still keeping his hands out of his pockets and just a talking to, nothing more.
In most cases, that's always a yellow card. You could hear the crowd response of the lack of the yellow card. So she gets away with one there, but certainly Johnson had Gale beat for pace. She had nothing but no other choice, rather, just to impede her by pulling her shoulder almost.
There is something, if crowd. Some fans out there have been a little critical of the officiating, saying they're too lenient on some of the fouls. Prime example would be the Tobin Heath foul last week, in which she just got yellow. Some were calling for red on that one, played into Schmidt. That, of course, was against Chicago, which resulted in some injury. Bach with a header. Save made. Right place, right time. Good job there by Chantel Jones.
Yeah, that was a quick service from Rampone. Bach, not enough on it to beat the keeper. Good delivery, though, by Rampone, getting that ball into the danger area.
Now quickly, Washington in the counterattack. Matheson wants to go back and gets it back. Matheson working on yes, that's Johnson over there. Overlapping run here for Gale. Puts one across, but cleared away by Goodson. Throw in Washington, 29th minute.
And that was a good cross-air by Gale, just forcing Goodson to put it out to touch.
And now Washington, you're seeing them bring a defender up. So both teams trying to get the defenders in the attack here to build something as we're now in the 30th minute. Gale will take this throw into play. Ooh, dangerously high foot there. And Lloyden's got it.
And Pollard was the culprit there. Once again, no whistle by the referee. So at least they're allowed to be playing, allow this to be a physical battle, which probably benefits the away team a little bit more.
Friels plays it through. Good ball. Away goes Ocampo. Just missed. We'll go down to the field level. Dan Lauletta.
Guys, the most vocal person on the Spirit bench is head coach Mark Parsons. The second most vocal is goalkeeper Ashlyn Harris, who was scratched late from this one with a minor injury. Harris, no stranger to being in a coaching role on the bench. If you go back to WPS, she was the backup keeper for the Washington Freedom. The team was on the West Coast, had no assistant coaches, and the head coach was sent off, so Harris was left with the subcards in hand to act as a quasi-coach. The head coach that day for the Freedom, it was Jim Gabera. Back to you guys.
You knew that was coming. Hey, listen, sometimes you overcome, you improvise, you adapt.
Absolutely, that's what this game is all about. And certainly for her, she has the experience to help out on the sidelines, to be a leader. A lot of goalies make good coaches after their careers because they see the whole field. They're given opportunities.
Tony DeChico comes to mind. He was a keeper, men's side, became a tremendous women's coach. That's a name right off the bat that comes to mind for me. And by the way, if you can tell me what movie that Overcome, Improvise, Adapt line was from, bonus points for you.
Improvise or Adapt, was that Training Day?
No, that would be Heartbreak Ridge.
Okay.
Now played through and played away. Good job, Washington, defensively, and away goes McCarty. Ahead now to the number 16, Connie Polars.
And I like when Polars drops back a little bit more to receive. Allow Oaks to run off her. Makes him a more dangerous team in the build-up.
Over the top, McCarty. McCarty with it. Takes a look, wants to play one again diagonally, but it's going to be cleared away by Johnson. Very well done. And Sky Blue through Friels. Friels again. Takes a look, wants to go down the middle. Nice ball. Away goes Ocampo. Monica Ocampo! Good job defensively, but Ocampo again. Shot save made Jones. Good job defensively there by Washington, and then Jones to keep her ground and make the save.
Yeah, and that's the second time that Ocampo's got by King. This time it was King with that intervening slide. Great ball, though, by Friels, just springing her forward. Second time in a few minutes. Sky Blue's starting to brim with confidence now, Brett.
Well, Boston Breakers have scored again. They're up 2-0 on Western New York. So one only wonders with the injuries at the back line if that's hurting the Flash today. 2-0. Boston leads Western New York in Boston over at Dilboy Stadium.
And with Boston's attack, it doesn't surprise me that they've gone up in that game.
Boston, of course, trying to keep their playoff hopes alive. Can still catch Sky Blue or Western New York with the proper results. And, of course, getting a win would set up a tremendous showdown in Rochester last week of the season. Last match of the season for those two. And now Sky Blue, nice job. They're going to move ahead. This is Schmidt. Check it, Friels. Now goes across. Raniel has switched sides here. And this is going to be not out. It's going to slow down enough for this to be played. Oh, now, nice job. Ball across for Ocampo. Raniel did well to win the battle from Houston.
And you see what a little bit of pressure does there. Rangel gets that ball across. Unfortunately for her, there was no one at the end of it, but it's just a hustle play that this team has really been lacking. Case in point right there with Ron Howell. No one on the doorstep for an easy put back home.
34th minute here at Yurcak. We still have yet to find a scorer between the Washington Spirit and Sky Blue FC. Brett Luthner, Eric Studnicki, Dan Lauletta at field level. Of course, Dan and Daniela Diavanzo will join you at halftime for the halftime report. Give you their insights on this one. Of course, we'll give you scores on the other two games going on today. Seattle and Chicago is the other game today, and then FC Kansas City and Portland Thorns go at it tomorrow. Another top-of-the-table clash, this one on Fox Soccer. 8:30 p.m. on the East Coast here if you want to catch that on Fox Soccer. 5:30 on the West. This now is King going across to Warbis. She turns it over, though. Johnson trying to move forward. Doing some good play here. Gives off to Friels. Friels going for goal. Might have taken a touch there. Nope, they're going to say goal kick.
Yeah, that was always sailing high for Fields, but she's starting to put her stamp on this game, really been more involved the last few minutes, receiving the balls, making some good penetrating passes and runs, trying to get into that final third, and that's what Sky Blue needs. Leadership in the midfield area. Schmidt sitting behind her provides that coverage. Ocampo in front of her is really giving her that free reign role in that midfield area, and so far for me tonight, she's really come alive.
Johnson heads it away. Trying to get back on it, but Washington comes away with this. Charging down the right side is Oakes. Stephanie Oakes, number 22. Puts a ball across, just over the head of everybody involved, including McCarty, and away comes Brittany Bach.
And she had two players in there for a low-driven ball to feet.
Now Ocampo. Gives it on off, and then over the top trying to find Friels was Schmidt. Instead, it rolls all the way to goal, and picking it up is Jones.
And so far, Sky Blue have done a good job at really interchanging positions in that final third. You've seen different players pop up in different spots. Really, the modern game is now about playing between the lines, trying to find those open areas. They've done a good job so far tonight. Now they just need that quality in the final third to try to penetrate the goal area. But so far, for me, have done a good job just trying to make something happen.
Gale is going to get this one here, 36th minute. Every time I look up at the scoreboard clock, there's pretty much another 10 seconds before we shift on to the next. And a foul is going to go against Sky Blue FC, 37th minute now. And Washington gets the free kick right around the midfield stripe and trying to take a little too much room on the far side there. So our match referee will send her back a little bit, that being Mautovic.
Yeah, and that was Johnson, who Oakes was able to elude. No choice but to foul there. So free kick opportunity here. Goodson, Rampone have to stay focused.
This one put over the top. Goodson does well to challenge. And then Goodson will have to deal with this. Oakes trying to work on Goodson. Does well defending. Ball put over the top is going to miss everybody. Trying to run on to save it. Not able to do so. Was Polars.
Yeah, and she was able to shake free there to curl that cross in for her left foot. Overhit a little bit too much for Polars, but that's a dangerous game if you allow her to continuously find service. You have to do a better job if you're Sky Blue denying it.
Friels trying to go down the middle, does so. Away goes Ocampo. Just missed. Yeah, 38th minute.
Another great opportunity there for Ocampo. Another service by Friels, continuously driving forward at the back four, rather. Ocampo cut that one across the face of the goal. Unfortunately for her, it was always going wide. Sky Blue continuing to knock on the door, Brett.
38th minute, we're still scoreless. Huster takes a look, wants to go over the top, trying to find Polars, does so. Check that, it's Oakes. Oakes with it. Step over. Oakes pulls it back with the left, puts it across with the right. It's deflected. McCarty plays down. Flag goes up. Offside to call.
Offside flag is up.
And I like that. Sky Blue continues to go forward with Friels. Ocampo's been dangerous. Leto's now drifted out to that left-hand side.
This one trying to find Ocampo. Instead, it's back to where King plays it. And eventually, Chantel Jones. Across now for Abeg. Over the top. McCarty couldn't get her head to it. Instead, McCoskey got a foot to it. Now McCarty is on it. Try to go across. Bach read it. Touch passing here. Sky Blue FC trying to build the attack. Ocampo. Nice little pass, and then they'll drop it back to Schmidt. Goes across to Johnson making a run down the left side. Johnson whipping in with the left leg. Trying to get ahead to it was Friels, but instead McCarty coming back to defend and play it away. Rampone steps up in defense. Gives it on to Schmidt. Rampone making a run down the left side. Not quite there, though. And now Bach's got to drop back to help defensively as Rampone's caught a little bit. And now Washington, not realizing the possibilities at the back, just take possession here. Matheson. Abeg goes on across to King. King will take a look and go further across to Gale. Now Lindsay. And some clogged quarters there, and Rampone will go all the way back to Lloyden. 40th minute at Yurcak. We've still yet to find someone to put themselves in the goal-scoring column. Brett Luthner, Eric Studnicki, Dan Laletta at field level, and the rest of the crew here at Yurcak Field. Almost turned out to be a very nice night, and thankfully, we don't have to worry about any of the nastiness at this time. Rampone on up. Raniel fought off her defender and then gives to Schmidt, who is making the run. Sophie Schmidt puts one across the face of goal. Chasing it down, Lytle to keep it in. Taylor Lytle instead plays it back safely to Johnson. Johnson looks to take on, and does. Kendall Johnson, she went with it with the left leg, and they're going to give a corner. First corner of the match here in the 41st minute, and it goes to Sky Blue FC.
Yeah, great initiative there by Johnson to get that quarter kick opportunity. Went at that right-hand side player, was able to create a deflection. As Schmidt's going to stand over this one, Brett.
I'm wondering who is going to take the corners for them. It's going to be Sophie Schmidt. By the way, corners conceded. Washington, this is their 86th corner conceded. Now it's going to be grabbed by Jones. They've only gotten 68 corners have the spirit. That shows, when you see stats like that, 85, 68 coming into this one, and now 86, it's tough. Fouls against Sky Blue FC there. In the meantime, Sky Blue FC in the corners, out-cornering their opponents 76-66 coming in. Now move that up to 77.
Yeah, and for Washington, it shows that they're always on their back foot, defending most of the time, and they're quite content to give up a corner kick opportunity. You can see they're able to set their defense up, apply marking where needed.
By the way, for Chantel Jones, this is her third start of the season. And this one now played for Raniel. Nicely done there by Huster and kept alive. Off the back, not timing that as much as she wanted to, Tiffany McCarty. And Sky Blue gets the throw in. Raniel took a little bit of a bump, but we go on. Huster has to chase this one down and plays upfield. Rampone with a strong header. They give to Friels. Friels couldn't quite get around her defender. And now Washington in possession. McCarty turns it over. This is turned over, I should say, to Friels by Oakes. And Ocampo thought Raniel was making a run, and she wasn't. And Raniel puts her hand up, says, "My bad."
You try to make too many passes in that central area. You have to get that ball to those flank areas to be a little bit more successful.
Washington have lost 6 in a row since their draw against Kansas City. Sky Blue 1-4-3 in their last 8, so both sides struggling. And right now, neither side has found the net. This one played long by Jones, headed away. And this is going to be Johnson playing it in the air. Raniel can't quite get to it. McCarty's going to turn and head the other way. Pulls down, goes diagonal, picking it right off is Goodson. Schmidt still with it. Gives on across Friels. Now Schmidt again. 44th minute now here at Yurcak. Trying to run onto this one is Friels. And now McCoskey couldn't quite get to that one, but Schmidt goes back to Rampone. Schmidt again. Sophie Schmidt takes a look. Wants to go across. Didn't quite curl it the way she wanted to. And now Washington in possession here. And the sun not a factor for Chantel Jones. With the way it sets nowadays, and this one goes over the top, but Williams going to be able to play this. With the way it sets now, you know, the last week or two, trees shadow the goal in its entirety. So Chantel Jones shouldn't have much of a problem seeing the ball come in. This one goes all the way back towards her net, and Jones comes out and dives.
And that time it was Lytle just giving chase. So she's starting to get a little bit forward as this game goes on, trying to unlock this back four for Washington.
McCarty does not keep in. Sky Blues got themselves a throw-in. And now it's Rampone. 45th minute here at Yurcak. Goes across for Goodson. Trying to go up the side there for Johnson. It's going to be played out. Throw in Sky Blue FC. Johnson puts it back in. Sky Blue trying to build an attack here before halftime, but Washington through Matheson snuffs that out. And now here comes Oakes. Nice move to get around McCoskey. And now Rampone comes over to help out. Good job defensively. Everybody covered up, but a hard clearance that Friels couldn't control. And Washington's still in possession here. This is Matheson. It's going to be played out. Throw in for Sky Blue FC. And there's our halftime whistle. 45 minutes are in the books here at Yurcak Field. Sky Blue had some opportunities there in the first half. Couldn't convert. And in the end, halftime results scoreless between Sky Blue FC and the Washington Spirit.
And that's the way it's been going the last few games for Sky Blue. Ocampo with 2 golden opportunities. Can't convert either of them. 0-0 at halftime. So now Sky Blue is going to go in at half. Look to regroup. They played well enough to be winning this game. 2 goals to the good so far for me. Now can they come out and try to get that go-ahead goal? You know that Washington's going to set up defensively, have shown very little going forward in terms of the entire team. Just Polars a lot of times is isolated up there, along with Oakes. So 0-0 at halftime, as you mentioned before, and all to play for both teams as this game goes to the second half, Brett.
Well, first half had some opportunities for Sky Blue FC. A little bit for Washington. They did threaten a little bit at times, but Joe Lloyd able to control well. And thus, we have not found a scorer yet at halftime. Dan Laletta, Danielle Diavanzo will come at you for halftime here at Yurcak Field. Our score at halftime, Sky Blue FC and Washington scoreless. Back after this.
Let's cheer on Gabby Castillo.
We are scoreless here at Yurcak Field. Sky Blue FC hosting the Washington Spirit in their season home finale. Alongside Dan Loletta, I'm Danielle DiGavanzo, and thank you for joining us here on the Halftime Report. Scoreless game, but Dan, what impressed you the most so far in this first half between these two teams?
Christy Rampone. I thought she was spectacular because I thought the Spirit actually had some pretty good build-ups, and pretty much Rampone snuffed out all of them. Closed down Connie Pollers very well. At one point she fell over Stephanie Oakes and then recovered for a close down run. That time gave the ball away to Stephanie Oakes, recovered and prevented a serious scoring threat that time. So best player on the field from me, Christy Rampone.
What's impressed me with Washington was that this 4-4-2 formation seems to be working a lot better for them. They're getting a lot more possession than they've seen in previous matchups, especially if you compare it to Wednesday's game against New York in Rochester.
Right, they're doing what we said they needed to in the pregame. They're keeping the ball off their back four for the most part. Lindsay and Matheson are both very adept at moving the ball upfield. They're still not particularly dangerous yet, but it's hard to be dangerous when you don't have the ball. So I think the fact that they have had more of the ball, eventually Lindsay and Matheson will be able to push forward and make other players dangerous.
And what's interesting, too, is we talked to Coach Parks before the game, and he was suggesting that it was going to be a very defensive game for Washington. And we've seen them sit back a bit, but I think that they've been able to get more offensive opportunities than I at least expected, at least talking to Coach Parsons.
All right, well, in sitting back, they're getting the ball, and what they're doing a lot of is, at least on the left side, Tori Huster is playing the ball very quickly, so she's getting a lot of balls played back to her and returning them immediately, and the other players in front of her are trying to move in and get behind the defense. It's worked to some extent, but again, Rampone is shutting down most of those options over there, and it does seem as if the Spirit are thinking a little bit more about going at Sky Blue's right side with a little bit less experience, at least in terms of playing that position with McCoskey there.
Well, looking at McCoskey, how would you assess her performance so far at the right back position?
Similar to Cutshall last week, the coaching staff is imploring her to go forward, 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 and it doesn't look like right now it's her natural instinct to go forward. She was so, I don't want to say stationary, but she really didn't get forward very often when she played defensive midfield for, 12 or 15 games, so it probably takes some time. I'm seeing a lot of things from both teams tonight that if this were April and it was the first game of the season, I would say good start, let's see how this builds, but being that it's August, Sky Blue's trying to get into the playoffs, and the Spirit are just trying to get another win, it probably leaves a little bit more to be desired in August than it would in April.
Well, both teams have had the injury bug affect them, but they've been trying to compensate with the players that they do have on their bench, although both benches are kind of dwindling at this point.
Yep.
We saw Ashlyn Harris was originally supposed to start in goal, but now on the bench, and Jones has come in and so far got a clean sheet in the first half. Were you able to find out why Harris was not able to start?
I don't know what the specific injury was, but I know she came here with a minor injury, was trying her best to make a run at it to play, didn't work out, and she was a late scratch, and Jones goes in, and Jones has been pretty good. She's been aggressive off her line when she's needed to be. She caught the one corner kick in decent amount of traffic. I think she's been okay. Harris barking out orders from the bench.
And with Sky Blue FC, this is a must-win for them as of right now. If they would like to be able to get a playoff berth, they not only need to win this one, but they have to have either a loss or a draw with Boston and Chicago. And as of right now, Western New York Flash was able to tie Boston 2-2. Carly Lloyd got a goal in the 85th minute, so right now it's 2-2. And looking at Chicago and Seattle, that is now tied at 1-1, thanks to a PK converted by Kyle.
And a PK to make it 1-0 also by Sonia Foos for Chicago. So scoreless games all around right now. And you're right, Sky Blue, if those two results hold and Sky Blue wins, then they get in tonight. Obviously, they don't need to win this game to get in overall. In fact, if they beat the Spirit 2 times and they are in the playoffs, that's not a bad thing when you're facing a team 1-13-4 and you need to beat them twice to get into the playoffs. Possible, by the way, that all the playoff berths in the league could be decided tonight, but the Flash would need to get a late goal and beat Boston in order for that to happen.
And with Boston, we saw yesterday it was announced that the coaching staff, Lisa Cole, along with the assistant coach, have parted ways, and now Kat Whitehill is stepping in as a player coach. The last time that I've seen this happen was with Sky Blue FC back in 2009 in the inaugural WPS season when Christy Rampone was able to step in and be a player coach. They were also in 5th place at the time, were able to make the playoffs and eventually win the inaugural WPS season.
That was a draw, final 2-2 per Twitter. Western New York and Boston, probably a bad draw. Definitely a bad draw for Boston. Abby Wambach kind of did that with Magic Jack in 2011, but we don't really count them. You're right, Rampone right here came in. Circumstances were very different, but she came in. They won their first game, and then they actually lost their last game when they needed to get into the playoffs, and lo and behold, the Breakers lost the next day, and that allowed Sky Blue into the playoffs. And then they went to Washington and St. Louis and Los Angeles, and they won all 3 games, and they won the championship. And then Rampone announced in the locker room afterwards that she was 3 months pregnant, and it was quite a story. Don't expect the same thing from Boston, but you never know. Timing of the firing, very strange to say the least, not only in the fact that they waited a long time, because a lot of people you talk to, you kind of get the sense this was in the works a little bit for Lisa Cole maybe to get removed as head coach. Why do it now with 4 games left when they had stabilized things a bit? And also, they played Saturday, and she was let go yesterday, and they play again today. Usually, you play Saturday, you take care of those sorts of things Monday, Tuesday at the latest, and then you let the new coach have a week to get things ready to go. They elected not to do that. Don't know if anything else happened, but Kat Whitehill, player, interim coach of the Breakers.
And with that tie, now Western New York has 31 points, tied with Sky Blue FC, but due to the tiebreaker, Western New York is in 3rd place, while Sky Blue FC is in that 4th and final spot, making this an even more desperate win that they need.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to, 3rd and 4th will come down to matchups in the playoffs unless both teams win, and then the 3rd place team will host the final against the 4th place team. I think for Sky Blue right now, rather than worrying about 3rd, 4th, even 2nd to host, they need to figure out who's going to be healthy the rest of the way and get some goals on the board, because they only have 1 now dating back. This would be the 5th game, and the 1 goal was an own goal. It still counts, but they didn't have, it was a little bit of a muted celebration because nobody expected it. Nobody has that feeling of scoring a goal, so they need to get something on the board here.
And as of right now, Monica Ocampo has had some of the better opportunities for Sky Blue in this first half, but we're still scoreless here at Yurcak Field. Boston Breakers with the tie has 24 points now, still in 5th. And with the tie still between Chicago and Seattle, that remains the same as Sky Blue wins. They will get the playoff berth. And
Seattle, who we knew was coming, but they're officially eliminated with the point for Western New York. So Seattle and Washington, who we're watching here, are eliminated. But again, there was a chance if Sky Blue and Western New York and Seattle all won, all 4 spots would have been taken care of right off the bat. As it is, with the loss of points for Boston, if Chicago also loses points, that puts Kansas City in the playoffs.
And Kansas City and Portland Thorns will play tomorrow, which is the top of the table matchup, and that will be on live for Fox Soccer. But looking at that matchup, what do you think predictions there, Kansas City versus Portland?
One note before I get to that, Inga Grings has a goal before the halftime. It's 2-1 Chicago over Seattle. Can't wait for the game tomorrow on Fox Soccer. To me, it's the game of the year. There have been a couple of different quote-unquote top-of-the-table clashes, but this is one between... These are the 2 teams that were supposed to be the best early in the season, plus it's on Fox Soccer, so more people will get to see it than see the others. And I think Kansas City, if they can control the game in midfield, which they should be able to, I think it is their game to lose. Thorns have been better of late, but Kansas City can control it with Holiday and Timrack offensively, with Desiree Scott defensively. They are clicking on all cylinders. Again, Thorns have been a little better. We'll see, can Alex Morgan play the same way against a much better back line than she saw Sky Blue throw at them on Wednesday night? Can she play with that much enthusiasm and effectiveness tomorrow?
And in that game, Alex Morgan and Tobin Heath will be coming in with 4 yellow cards, so they have to make sure that they don't get their 5th one, otherwise they will not be able to be eligible for another game.
Right, and that does not get wiped away. They have to play the rest of the regular season without a yellow card. Astonishing that Alex Morgan, who's a forward, could be the first player in the league to get 5 yellow cards. The other 2 players on 4 are Kaylin Kyle and Jess Fishlock, both in Seattle, and both have had 4 for quite some time. Kind of astonishing for Heath, too, because she's played 4 games, had a yellow card in all 4 games. One of them should have been a red.
That still is up to debate whether that should have been a red, but it was given a yellow. But looking at Sky Blue, the only player that's gotten a red card was Sophie Schmidt against Boston a while back for throwing a ball at Avanti. That was also questionable whether it should have been a yellow versus a red, but quite a few controversies here in the NWSL so far this season.
Yeah, Jim Gabarra has been yelling at the officials. I thought there were actually 2 yellow cards on the Spirit. Neither one got called. Jim Gabarra none too pleased. Not a new scenario for the coaches in NWSL not to be pleased with the officials. I think it's one of the major points the league needs to work on heading into next season.
And before we go, quick wrap-up, 2 key points for each team if they want to get the W in this game.
Well, Sky Blue needs to finish some chances. You know, Bach finally got her head on one, so I think that they need to get in a little bit more and finish their chances. And the Spirit really need to keep doing what they're doing and be patient and see if they can find the dangerous ball to Oaks or Polars.
We'll see if any substitutions will be made. As of right now, it is scoreless here at Yurcak Field. Sky Blue FC hosting Washington Spirit in their final home game of the regular season. Dan, thank you as always for joining me here at the halftime show.
It's been fun.
Has been a wonderful season. Always been a pleasure talking with you.
Absolutely. Hopefully we're back in 2014.
Hopefully we will be. When we come back, Brett Luthner and Eric Studnicki will have the call. Dan, you'll be back roaming the sidelines as usual. Dan Loletta, I'm Danielle Diavanzo. Thank you for listening to Sky Blue FC Halftime Report. When we come back, second half action as it's scoreless here at Yurcak Field.
Second half about to begin here, and a substitution already early on as we get ready to start the second half. New signing Ashley Nick, her of the Pally Blues, will check into the game, and she's in for number 10, Brittany Bach, there for Sky Blue FC as we are underway second half. Sky Blue getting started. This goes all the way to the keeper. And already some moves have to be made in the second half. And Eric, that's a big substitution there. Ashley Nick just signed Pally Blues, winning the W League Championship, and the USC product now onto the pitch. She's wearing the number 12. And we'll see how she'll be used.
And she has quality on the ball, Brett. You're going to see her sit in front of the back 4, just take up box position as Schmidt's going to advance a little bit more forward. For me, Sky Blue in this second half, who's going to come out, make the difference in this second half, make a play, a tackle in the midfield, get to goal quick. Individual effort is what they've been lacking. They've created chances, but it hasn't been enough tonight.
And now going down the sideline, here comes Sky Blue FC. McCoskey's going to put one across. Bounced around a little bit, only as far as Friels. Pulls it down, Katie Friels. And couldn't quite get her feet under the ball. They continue to play for it. And it'll be cleared away. Nick challenges. And we'll find out real quickly. Ashley Nick, a very powerful player. Very good jumping, going in the air for the ball, and very good at maintaining her ground. She is difficult to move, especially off the ball.
Yeah, and she's going to be able to find passes here. She's going to have plenty of room in that midfield area. Can she pick out the right pass at the right time?
Sky Blue with it now. Johnson couldn't quite get to that one. Picked off nicely, but Goodson on it.
And that was a dangerous ball right there, that square ball across the midfield.
Lytle wants to give. Couldn't quite get it to Ocampo. And now turned over. Sky Blue FC going from right to left here in the second half in the all-navy kits. Washington Spirit in the all-white kits going from left to right here. It's Nick again. Tries to go over the top. Couldn't quite get it there. And eventually cleared away by Warbis. And not able to keep it in was Matheson. Sky Blue gets a throw-in.
Yeah, and you can see Sky Blue just coming out and applying their normal pressure as they always do to the start of the second half. Hunt for the ball in packs, retain possession, get to goal quickly.
Nick and Taylor Lytle were teammates on Pally Blues last year. So when Pally Blues got to the W League Championship and lost in PKs. So we'll see if their partnership from last year results in something here this year. Now, nice intervention by Schmidt. She picks off that pass. Sophie Schmidt decides to go back. Nick goes on across. Playing this one, McCoskey. McCoskey does well to get around McCarty. And plays it on ahead to Raniel, but she couldn't control. Washington once again in possession here, 49th minute.
And Ron Hell's just got to hold on to that ball, allow her team to get forward. Can't rely on those flicks to get by defenders at this level. Very hard to do. Nick has come in, has looked confident, has made some good passes, good decision maker on the ball.
We'll see. She's going to be, I'll tell you this much, having seen her play in the W League Championships not too long ago as this one's through. Good ball. I'll get to that in a moment. Away goes Polars. Polars drops it back. Oaks. Ambitious, well off the mark there. Goal kick for Sky Blue FC. But as I was going to say, the one thing is I saw when I watched her play for Pally Blues down in Bradenton at the W League Championships, an event that I was fortunate enough to broadcast as well. She was very good in the air with the balls, and that may come into play here on set pieces, corner kicks, and the like.
Yeah, and she's really going to have to protect those back four as Washington's going to sit a little bit deeper in the second half, absorb the pressure, have most of the game played in front of them. Her job is going to be able to find passes as she did that one.
Johnson found it well. That was a good 30-yard pass there, 35. But Johnson's got to go back. Not the paciest of players is Ashley Nick, but makes up for it for sure with her strength and determination. And she's on it now. Trying to go over the top. Does it slow down enough? Nice job defensively. They're going to actually call a foul here. The assistant referee has his flag up. And a foul is going to be called against Washington. And we may see it here as Ashley Nick's going to move up. A dangerous situation. Washington called for the foul in the 51st minute.
Yeah, fortuitous call there against
Huster on the foul.
Ronhell on Huster. And as you said, that was a great ball there by Nick, allowing Ronhell just to run into that area behind the back four. So all-important service right now. Schmidt's going to stand over this one, Brett.
One player in front. Looks to be Ocampo. Raniel trying to make a run here. Ball served in. Knocked down a little bit. Shot. Oh, nice save. Rebound loose. Player down for Sky Blue. This one a throw, and the player is down for Sky Blue FC. Is a good job there by Chantel Jones to keep the ball out of the net.
And that's Ron Howe who just got pulled up, but that ball fell right to the feet of Ocampo. Another opportunity gone for Sky Blue. Couldn't convert on that one either.
Now Sky Blue FC with the throw in here. A couple balls on the field, so to get rid of one of them. Far side, Ocampo tries to play in for Schmidt. It's picked off and cleared away.
It's going to be whether or not Ocampo can get another opportunity like the 2 or 3 that she's been given tonight.
Now, Sky Blue FC trying to win possession again. They do. Going along, punched away. Back in towards Friels. Friels shot! It was punched away by Jones. The service back in. Friels wanted to go to the far post and just missed it.
Yeah, and Schmidt did the right thing there, Brett. Just played that ball back into Friels. She just couldn't keep it low enough to get on target. She's going to be disappointed with herself there. She had the entire goal to shoot at. And once again, it's that lack of technical quality in that final third area that continues to frustrate this Sky Blue team.
This one headed away. There's that aerial prowess of Ashley Nick getting right up and winning that ball. However, it goes out for a throw-in.
And that's very important just to deny Oaks the service there that she so likes.
Nick. Ashley Nick with it. Plays it back for Goodson. Coco Goodson takes a look, goes across to the captain. Christy Rampone with it. Rampone up the middle. Not quite there. I think a little miscommunication. Schmidt thought she had somebody behind her. But a good job there by Friels to win the ball back. Friels with a nice move then. And then a good job backtracking. And Washington defends away well. Comes out wide, Warbis. Tries to play up a little too hard though. Goodson. And now here's Friels. Friels gets it back. Ball goes across. They play it to McCoskey. Manya McCoskey takes a look, then puts around. McCoskey with the service. Header. Knocked around, cleared, not out. Shot! Sky Blues getting more opportunities here. 54th minute. Lots of opportunities. Still cannot find the net.
And that was changed by that little change of pace and direction by McCoskey on that flank, and getting around the back four has not been easy for Sky Blue this evening. Another great service. Falls to the feet of Ocampo. She can't quite keep it low enough to keep it on frame.
Played down here. Washington, Warbis with it. Gives it on ahead to Polars. Polars kind of didn't hesitated on her decision, and now Schmidt's going to come away with it. To Lytle. Taylor Lytle. Eyes up her opposition. 2 white jerseys, now 3 surrounding, but she still gets away. And Lytle had to step over. Gives it to Nick, and then back to Goodson. McCoskey. Ball into space there. Manya McCoskey. Pulls it back. Now moves around. McCoskey, low driven. Knocked around a bit, and right to Chantel Jones.
Yeah, and certainly McCoskey's starting to feel comfortable, Brett, on that right-hand side. They have to continue to give her the service to get down that right-hand flank. She's done well the last 2 opportunities. Look for Sky Blue to play that ball centrally, then pop that ball out to McCoskey as this game continues. She's had her way so far in the second half, has looked dangerous.
For Sky Blue fans listening into other or looking in on other matches, Boston and Western New York finished 2-2. Carly Lloyd breaks Boston Breaker hearts in the 85th minute after DiMartino had brought the Flash to within 1. Simon and Sanderson, the goal scorers for Boston in that game. And at halftime, Chicago's got a 2-1 lead on Seattle. Grings in the 41st minute, putting the Red Stars on top. Of course, if Sky Blue wins, Boston would be eliminated from the playoffs. Or at least Sky Blue would clinch over Boston. I shouldn't say eliminated. There's still Western New York to catch. Of course, a Sky Blue win would really help solidify a playoff berth. And if Chicago doesn't get the full result, that would help immensely as well. Washington, Oaks puts it towards goal, but a nice job by Lloyd, and didn't want to take any chances of someone making a run down the left side.
Yeah, she just hit that ball rather blindly into the area, hoping there was a player on the end of it. No one on the doorstep there for the visiting team.
Schmidt goes on across. McCoskey. Now it's Nick. Up for Raniel. Raniel, that's deflected down. Ocampo. Lytle. Oh, she thought she had another player with her, or might have mishit it a little bit, and you can hear the groan from the crowd again. 57th minute. Sky Blue and Washington were still scoreless. Goodson trying to evade, does so, and gives to Lloyden, who gives to Rampone. Christy Rampone with it. Takes a look at plenty of space again. Is Washington willing to drop off here? So Rampone just knocks it up a little bit and then gives to John. Check out McCoskey. Sky Blue FC now trying the far sideline again. Nick Friels. Lytle back to Friels. Friels lays it off nicely. Chance here in front. Score! Sky Blue FC are in front.
That was Ocampo just with the hustle play on the end of it.
And the trainers are coming out as Ocampo got taken out as she put the goal in. Monica Ocampo once again.
Yeah, she deserves that goal, Brett. She really was in the right place at the right time. Missed her last few opportunities. Nice little chip ball by Friels out to the right-hand side for Schmidt, who calmly put that ball across the face of the goal. And Ocampo was there lurking, finished 1-0 in that all-important first goal of this match.
And now we will check to make sure Monica Ocampo can continue on, as there was a very physical challenge there. And a round of applause, but Monica Ocampo has put Sky Blue FC in front.
And you can see Coach Cabarra on the sidelines trying to ask for the yellow card from the fourth official. Didn't like the challenge from behind there. We've seen red cards and yellow cards given for that. But needless to say, Ocampo with that desire and hustle play, right place, right time. And that's what Sky Blue desperately needed. It wasn't the prettiest of goals, but it's one that they will certainly take at this stage of the season, Brett. Big time.
For Monica Ocampo, her 6th goal of the season. And for Katie Friels, assist number 5 on the campaign. And again, a big goal for Sky Blue FC. Ocampo comes back over to the fourth official. Looks to be okay. So a big goal for Sky Blue FC.
And maybe that's what they needed just to get going, to open up these floodgates a little bit. Just that confidence. Finally, that final play is pieced all together. And a lot of times, Brett, teams at this level, you go through stages where you can't score. The other teams are set up well defensively. They're organized, especially teams at the bottom of the table. They don't want to come out and play too much. Credit to Sky Blue for continuing to probe, find open areas.
And we'd like to get things right up here. The assist is actually number 16.
And now, correct the assist. Sophie Schmidt gets the assist, not Katie Friels. So instead of Friels getting assist number 5, Sophie Schmidt gets assist number 1 on the season to go along with her 6 goals.
Yeah, but it was that nice little chipped ball by Friels over the defense that allowed Schmidt to gain access to that right-hand side. And Friels, for me, has really stepped her game up. You see her very active, demanding the ball, popping up in different areas, really taking that leadership role that this team needs in the midfield area.
Kendall Johnson goes on ahead. Oh, nice turn there by Lytle. Taylor Lytle. And now a foul's going to be called just at the edge of the area. Another bad foul and a yellow card this time. Finally, the card comes out. This one against Robin Gale, number 15.
Yeah, that's the second time Gale got away with committing that same foul almost. Opposite end of the field in the first half, so referee had no choice but to show the yellow card as Schmidt's going to stand over this one. So Sky Blues looking very dangerous right now, very energetic, looking very much like a team in the mood in this second half, Brett.
Yellow card warning issued to number 15 of Robin Gale.
Dangerous here. And Schmidt looks like she's going to take this one.
Yeah, the wall's not together, Brett. That near post is wide open.
Instead, going to whip it across off the post. Deflected. Corner kick, Sky Blue FC, their second.
Yeah, and I've never seen a wall constructed like that from this Washington team. 2 players standing totally apart. That allowed Schmidt just to play that ball through off that far post, but that's where communication comes in, continuity. Being brave to stand in that wall.
Ball whipped across. Header down. Oh, off the line well. Still not out of danger, though. Good job of clearance. Back to Schmidt. And this one's pawed over. Good save there by Chantel Jones. Another corner kick. Sky Blue FC really putting on the pressure now.
Yeah, and this is what you like to see from the home team. Constantly driving to get that second goal. They know they need it. They need the confidence. Very much playing and exuding that confidence at this moment, Brett, as Schmidt's going to take another corner kick.
And there's another one. Schmidt to take it. Puts it across. Side netting. Goal kick.
And Schmidt's got to be disappointed with that effort there. Perhaps she's still trying to recover from that last flurry of opportunities there for Sky Blue. But continuously probing, going forward, trying to create chances. This is a Sky Blue that put them at the top of the table for that first half of the season, if not most of it.
So substitution here for Washington. Kika Toulouse, number 3, comes on in replacement of Robin Gale. Gale's been gone after here. Take it down, Dan Laletta.
Guys, that might be the most exciting sequence of the season that we've seen in 11 matches this year at Yurcak Field. And just before that, a well-deserved opening goal of the match for Sky Blue, who came out in the second half, and they have taken this game to the Washington Spirit. Bright note for Washington. Chantel Jones looks mighty good, mighty comfortable in goal, but she was unable to deal with that one shot by Ocampo, and it looked like it might be shades of the last time she scored against the Spirit when she came off injured, but she came to the side, went right back in. Looks for the moment to be okay.
As back up comes Sky Blue FC. I think my partner might have cut. This is a foul against Friels. I think my partner might have cut Dan Laletta short a little bit when you're saying, go ahead, move forward, move forward. 64th minute here at Yurcak.
But I like the inspiration that Friels has shown in this second half. There she's fighting for the ball on the ground, rather, trying to win that ball back for Sky Blue, taking the initiative.
Now Warbis. Good job there by Goodson to defend, and back to Johnson.
And Rampone and Goodson have been very good tonight. Really haven't had that much to deal with in terms of tracking back defensively. Oaks has given them a few runs that they've had to mark up on, but other than that, there's really been very little team attack by this Washington team that's visiting here.
And another substitution coming on. Number 24 is Jasmine Spencer. She will enter the game and replace Teresa Warbis, number 7. So, Warbis out, Spencer in. At now 65th minute here. Sky Blue FC and Washington 1-0. The home side in front thanks to a Monica Ocampo goal.
The National Women's Soccer League is celebrating its inaugural season.
Now it's very important for Sky Blue to stay compact. Make sure there's no free runners, especially if you're playing that high line, since they're pressing a little bit more in the opposition's half. You have to make sure that the runners are always tracked, Brett.
Foul and another yellow.
And that time that was on Friels, once again getting fouled in that central part of the field, leading to another yellow card. So Friels is really starting to put her mark on this game.
Connie Polar's getting that last yellow, 66th minute. And the yellows are starting to add up now.
And that's the second time that one of the forwards had to track back and committing the forwards challenge.
This one headed by Nick. Good chance there, and now chased down by Schmidt. And again, player down in the area. This time, it's Goodson. And now cleared away. Only as far as McCoskey. McCoskey going to put it back in. Goodson's going to jump for it, but Jones is going to get her hands on it first. 67th minute.
Nice save there by Jones. She had Schmidt on her. She had to be 100% sure on that one. Timing was excellent. Caught the ball at the height of its peak.
Oaks. Wide now to Spencer. And Johnson will come back for this one. Johnson didn't want to make a mistake there, realizing there was another player attacking. So Washington earns themselves a throw-in out of all this. 67th minute, 1-0 Sky Blue FC, Monica Ocampo in the 58th.
And I think that one was off of Spencer, Brett, as the referee seemed to reverse her decision.
This is last touch by Washington again. Sky Blue with the throw.
Yes, 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 the tennis ball toss winners. Here they go.
Here is Johnson to throw back in.
You can head on down to the merchandise tent to claim your
Ocampo
prize and
let the ball play her, and instead it's turned over, but Lytle wins it back. Taylor Lytle wanted to go diagonal with it, but it's picked off by McCarty. Now back for Lindsay. And further back to Abeg. And then played away by Jones. Headed downfield, and Rampone goes back up. Washington gets themselves a throw here, 68th minute.
And for Washington, it's still important for them to try to get forward as quickly as possible.
This one goes all the way through and going to be gathered there by Jill Lloyden.
And Lloyden's really had very little to do so far tonight, so credit to the back four of Sky Blue of really making sure they're well organized, keeping a good team shape.
If these results hold up, Sky Blue FC will be clear of one more team. And then just have to deal with Chicago as results stand before they can punch their ticket to the postseason. Of course, on the standings end, it really does help out, though, as this one played all the way through and then calmly played back by the captain, Rampone, to the goalkeeper, Lloyden. Again, with these results, Western New York now on 31 points. A Sky Blue victory will give them 34, and despite Western New York having a game in hand, it will really help out the Sky Blue cause. Boston at 24 right now. Chicago at 23 coming into tonight's action, but they do have a 2-1 lead out in Chicago. So we'll keep an eye on that as the match goes on. Nice ball through for Schmidt. Sophie Schmidt, and a good job backtracking by McCarty. And she'll play it away.
And Schmidt just took that touch a little bit too outside of the goal area. She took that one inside. She had that free path to the goal. Nice pass though to get her through. And you can see Sky Blue just continuing to maintain possession, probe, find the dangerous areas when they're opening up, and continuously tracking back for Washington is going to make them more fatigued as this game goes on, Brett.
Here's Friels. Lindsay Cutshaw's ready to come on as a sub. Friels with it, near side. Takes a look and decides to play back to Johnson. Back to Friels. Katie Friels has some room to work with. Puts one in. It's going to be headed away. And Jones will pick it up.
And she had Schmidt there on the doorstep. Just couldn't guide that one over the Washington back four.
Washington now in possession to move it up. Not for long. Snuffed out. And Schmidt goes back to the defense. Goodson. Goodson gets it back from Friels here. 70th minute. 71st minute, I should say. Sky Blue FC with a 1-0 lead. Brett Luthner, Eric Studnicki, Dan Lauletta down at field level. Sky Blue FC with the lead, courtesy of a Monica Ocampo goal.
And Polar certainly has to be more involved if Washington looks to make any type of breakthrough in this game.
Moving ahead with it is Spencer. Gets it picked off, but Spencer gets it back. Moves it on off for Toulouse and goes back. Long shot from distance, not going to give Lloyden any problems. That off the foot of Lindsay. And Lloyden quickly distributes downfield. Foul is going to go against Sky Blue FC, much to the chagrin of Monica Ocampo. And now we got ourselves a substitution coming on. Lindsay Lisenby Cutshaw to enter the game for Sky Blue FC.
Substitution for Sky Blue FC. Let's hear coming off the field for number 7, Valerie Rango.
Raniel comes off, and Cutshaw goes on. Clearly a move to short things up in the back.
It'll be interesting to see where they place her. Cutshaw, it looks as if McCoskey's going to slide into that midfield area. She's going to garner at that right-hand side in that fullback slot that she played so well last week.
So this one through here, trying to run onto it. Service across, not going to give Lloyden any problems. That one off the foot of Spencer.
And that's the second time in this last minute or so that Lindsay's really had the ability to pick passes out in that final third area. Very dangerous if Sky Blue allows that. As this game goes on, they have to put a mark on her, not allow her that freedom to find passes as she did that time down the flank.
Cutshaw came into this doubtful for the game with a right foot sprain, but obviously in there as a sub. Sky Blue FC, this one put across. Lytle just couldn't control it. And now Sky Blue FC and Friels with it to Nick. Want to go down the sideline. Instead, Nick's going to get it back. And Ashley Nick, possessive, goes back. Rampone across to McCoskey. Check it, Cutshall now. As they've moved McCoskey up a little bit. Holding mid, if you will.
Absolutely, and that's the spot that she's been playing before her injuries started to bother her, and she's been comfortable there, played more than half the season, did a good job. She's good on the ball, likes to find passes there, and she really has to make sure she's that screening player along with Nick. You can't allow anyone to get at that back four freely in this last 15 minutes or so, Brett.
Nick is playing more further back than McCoskey right now. McCoskey's moved up. Wanted to find Nick, but missed a pass here, and away comes Washington the other direction. On it now is Lindsay, number 6, goes across to Chapman. Check it, Spencer, I should say. Chapman's injured. I don't know why I said that. And miscommunication! Rampone and Goodson didn't communicate properly there, and Polars almost made them pay.
And that was Polars with a gift almost right there that she can't believe she did not convert. Communication let the Sky Blue back four down. In that case, it was Goodson and Rampone, and that certainly could have been 1-1, Brett. Sky Blue gets away with another one tonight.
Nick in the air, played forward.
And that's really the type of season it's been for this visiting Washington team. Those are the types of chances that when they've been given them, they haven't been able to convert on.
And Goodson, again, a little soft on the touch there. It's going to go out, and Coach Gabara turns towards his bench.
Yeah, if anything, if you're Goodson, just play safety first. Clear that ball on the touch. Allow your team to regroup and be organized. You can't be casual. She's been a little bit too cavalier with those last two passes back. And those are the types of things, Brett, that lead to goal-scoring opportunities.
Lindsay Taylor, number 17, is going to come into the game, and she's going to replace, looks like Connie Polars, number 16. So Polars is out.
And really, you have to wonder if that was all that Polars could give. She certainly was one of the more effective players for this visiting team, was full of running and energy when she needed to be.
Long throw in here is headed towards the middle of the area, and that's clearly a foul. Foul's going to go against Spencer. Check that, not against Spencer, against McCarty. Strong challenge there physically. Now Cutshall.
It's very important for Sky Blue to continue to try to attack and connect passes in the midfield areas. Get your team forward together as a unit.
And now Nick has to backtrack to defend here. Matheson. And this one played away. Did it take a knock? Yes, it did. Sky Blue FC gets themselves a throw. Down to the... not yet. We'll get it down to the field in a moment. As throwing this one back in is Johnson. Not quite there to lose with it. Now on to Lindsay. Knocked around a bit. And Johnson will finally clear it away. Get it back down. Lindsay again. Tries to go over the top. Goodson does well to clean up that. And across to Cutshall. Lindsay Cutshall with it. Pulls it back. Takes a look. And still charges upfield. That last touch a little too hard. And you can see having a little trouble stopping on that foot there. And away comes Washington. This is Spencer. Jasmine Spencer wants to put one across. Washington's used all three of their subs now. Lytle. Sky Blue has used 2. Friel's upfield. Played down there. Lindsay.
And we got some special fans here tonight.
Turn around.
To start the wave. The New Jersey Force Crush. The team in red
Spencer
to,
goes across. It's going to be grabbed by Lloyden.
Box.
Go down to the field. Dan Loletta, go ahead.
Guys, I got a nice email this week from my pal Brett Ludner extolling the aerial prowess of Ashley Nick at the W League Championships, and she has shown just that since being inserted into this game. And she's done a little bit of everything. She's played in the midfield. She's covered when Coco Goodson has gone up top. I'd say that's a mighty good signing for an emergency signing with 3 weeks to go in the regular season. Sky Blues ahead here, 1-0, but a couple of missteps here in the last few minutes. They're one counterattack or one good spirit build-up away from going home disappointed tonight.
Yeah, it's always that one-goal lead, always tenuous. to say the least. Thank you very much, Dan. A great job for us all season on the sidelines here. Friels wins that ball. Now Lytle. Taylor Lytle. On up ahead. Now intended for Friels, but not quite making the run. Sky Blue doesn't want to get complacent here, up 1-0. Good job in the back. Not by Goodson. And now here goes Friels again. Friels got some room to work with. Katie Friels puts a ball through just a little too far. Ambitious there in the 79th.
Yeah, that was a good diagonal run between the center backs by Ocampo. She also had McCoskey streaking down that right-hand side, so plenty of options for Sky Blue going forward, and they're going to continue to create the gaps as this team continues to try to press for that second goal, and Washington has to go to try to get the equalizer. It's going to open up the game a little bit more, Brett.
Lindsay Taylor played it up and instead picked off by Goodson. Back to her keeper. And that is Lloyden. Sky Blue FC with a 1-0 lead. 79th minute here at Yurcak. Brett Luthner, Eric Studnicki, Dan Lauletta at field level. We play on through advantage. Over the top, not the greatest pass. It's going to be dealt with. Johnson chases it down to keep it in play. Kendall Johnson up the sideline. Picked out a man, or woman, I should say. And that's Schmidt. Goes on across McCoskey. McCoskey's going to take a look. Back for Schmidt. Schmidt trying to back heel, trying to get elusive around the defender and couldn't do so.
Yeah, good intervention there by a bag, just making sure that Schmidt couldn't back heel that one through her legs. But dangerous on the break now as Sky Blue starts to absorb a little bit of pressure themselves.
Picked off Sky Blue. Pressuring again. Friels. Her shot deflected or no? I'm going to say goal kick. 80th minute here. 1-0 Sky Blue FC.
In the last 10 minutes, you really have to focus if your Sky Blues back four. The gaps in the midfield area are much more open than they were in the first half. 15 or 20 yards often of space in there for both teams to operate. They have to make sure that Lindsay's not able to find passes or a dribble.
McCoskey's going to chase this one down. Manya McCoskey, nice ball ahead to Schmidt. Schmidt going to try it, deflect it out. It's going to be a corner kick.
And I like that shot there by Schmidt. Just make the defense react. That time off the head of that bag. So another corner kick opportunity as Schmidt's going to stand over this one. Let's see if she can get the service better than the last time, Brett.
Here come players charging forward again. This ball put across and no problem there for the goalkeeper, Chantel Jones, who punts it away after sprinting. Flag goes up. Offside.
The offside flag is up.
And that was on Spencer, which is just unacceptable. You know when the goalie's going to play it, she's going to overhit it. You don't have to start in an offside position. Just a lack of concentration there on Spencer's part. She knows it.
Right at the center line, too. Which, if she had held up her run just a shade, it wouldn't have been offside. As for those that don't know, you can't be offside in your own half of the field. And for the many fans that do know, well, you know the deal already.
And the good thing for Sky Blue is they're very comfortable now, trying to just create areas to pass the ball around, plenty of open spaces.
Sky Blue FC with the 1-0 lead, 82nd minute. Not for a lack of opportunities, though, as Ashley Nick is on the ball. A little too hard of the touch, but she does get to it in time and gets the ball back from Friels. Goes across. Chance here again, Sky Blue. Trying to move forward. Ocampo couldn't quite get it towards goal and play it away. Ocampo, the lone goal scorer in this match, back in the 58th. Going to run on to this one again. Will it stay in for her? No, it will not. Runs out. Throw in, though. Right in the corner for Washington.
And Sky Blue's got to try to pin these players in this end of the field at this point now, Brett, to make sure there's a quick turnover.
And Sky Blue FC once again in possession. Ashley Nick goes on across. The W League MVP in the championship was Ashley Nick, the finals MVP, or the tournament MVP, I should say. Goes across now. Cutshall. Now back. Goodson to Rampone. And they've switched sides here. Possibly sensing a little something on that side. Coach Cabarra has switched up his midfielders. And now, Washington in possession. Victoria Huster, number 23. As we're in the 84th minute of play. Quick going to get it there. And Ashley Nick has it. Ashley Nick. Still with opportunities. Goes a little bit over the top. Nice ball. Another one chipped out to the right side. Running on to it, McCoskey. And the shot goes over. Good little build up there. Started with the little chip over by Ashley Nick, the new signing.
Yeah, Nick to Schmidt, out wide to McCoskey. Couldn't keep it on target, but I like her initiative to go for it first time. Difficult technique to get that ball on target. Nonetheless, she took the opportunity.
Sky Blue FC still trying to go forward. Friels trying to win the ball. Couldn't quite do so, though. And now, Washington Spirit down a goal. Trying to build something here to try to get at least a point on the road. Down the left side, Matheson. Leading goal scorer for these Spirit ladies. And play it away. Sky Blue FC now coming back the other way. Friels with it. Katie Friels. Playing through. Is it going to get there? Nope, not going to find her target. Wanted to find Ocampo, but instead, Washington back line do well to clear away.
And Jan McCoskey had another one of those surging runs that she's been making all night long, and you can see McCoskey rather disappointed she didn't get the pass from Friels.
Now Rampone goes to Cutshall. And they've switched back up again. And back behind the play, the Washington players, they don't have a substitution. One of the Washington players pulling up a little lame there. And we're going to have another substitution. Maddie Thompson getting ready to check into the game. Number 25. This is intended for Lytle over the top, but it's going to be dealt with. I'm going to go back to the keeper Jones, though. And Jones plays upfield. 86th minute. This goes out of play, and now we'll get our substitution. Maddie Thompson into the game. And McCoskey comes off. Good game for Manya McCoskey there. Started at the back, moved up to the mid, had some opportunities created. And McCoskey now done after 86 minutes and gives way to Madeline Thompson.
Yeah, very solid for McCoskey. Going forward, getting into advanced positions, crossing, going 1v1, doing all the things that a modern fullback player needs to do. And she's really helped her team gain that 1-0 lead tonight so far, Brett.
That's the last substitution for both sides. Everybody else is in there now. It's Johnson. 87th minute of play. Nick, a nice little pass there. And Friels trying to evade, does a good job, gets a pass back from Lytle. Friels again. Good job of possession here in close quarters by Sky Blue FC. And Johnson evades well. Lytle does a good job and is fouled in the process by Toulouse.
And that's what Lytle wants, just to take some time off the clock. But you mentioned it, Brett. Nice little spell of possession in tight areas, what you like to see at the end of games, just showing confidence. And that's what Sky Blue is going to need as this season goes forward. Continue to make those plays, be confident, put the ball in the tight areas.
Kendall Johnson's going to go wide on this one. Headed back. Chance there for Ocampo over the bar.
And that one, she just took that in with her thigh real quick, got that shot off with her weaker foot, that right foot. Can't get it down low enough to challenge the goalkeeper. But once again, it's Ocampo getting another opportunity.
Now played away. Ashley Nick does well to control. And then, oh, nice ball down the right sideline. Is Thompson going to get there? She will. Maddie Thompson takes a look, then holds it up a little bit. Waits for her defender to get there. Thompson evades and then goes back to Cutshall. And all the way back to Rampone. Sky Blue FC with a 1-0 lead. 88th minute of play here at Yurcak Field. The home finale for Sky Blue FC. Before finishing things up at Chicago and at Washington. Chicago a week from tonight, and then Washington 2 weeks from tomorrow. This is another Sky Blue FC throw-in. And we're glad you can join us all season long here on YouTube, the NWSL's YouTube channel.
Just a reminder, the team will not be attending the Brickhouse Tavern attack.
So Sky Blue FC still in possession here.
Special post-game activities here. We'd like to thank the
Flag
Brickhouse
goes up
Tavern
offside.
for supporting
89th minute of play here at Yurcak.
And that was Thompson just being a little bit too anxious.
Coach Parsons imploring his players to shift it over to that side of the field a bit. Try to win possession here. Thompson watches this go out. Sky Blue FC with possession here.
And it's very easy for Sky Blue now to defend. They know they're going to be played against a little bit more direct from the visiting team. Make sure that they clear their lines, especially on any 50-50 balls. Safety first, Brett.
And that's safety. Played out. Sky Blue Freels can't quite get there. And Washington going to desperately try to move forward here now in the 90th minute. Washington trying to equalize. Toulouse with it. Kika Toulouse, watched by two Sky Blue FC players, and a great job by Kendall Johnson to win possession and then go up the field. But Washington, Ocampo couldn't quite control that one, and now it's King. Goes across to Lindsay. Where Lindsay plays it back. And now on it again is Holly King. Lindsay. See how much stoppage time we have. Ashley Nick, chest sitting and plays it away. Safely into the Washington half of the field. Blasted back up, but then played away again by Cutshaw stepping up. And away comes Schmidt with it. Long shot, going to go wide of goal.
And she had Ocampo on the right-hand side of the edge of the penalty area, but took the shot. Waste a little bit more time off this clock, Brett. Set yourself up defensively.
2 minutes of stoppage time here at Yurcak. Sky Blue FC moments away from winning their home finale and giving their playoff hopes a much-needed shot of adrenaline to cement themselves into the Final Four. This one to Lloyden. Lloyden, who's been solid when she needs to be tonight.
Yeah, she's been very comfortable back there. Didn't have to make the spectacular save, but solid nonetheless, as you say. And it's going to be interesting to see who Sky Blue goes forward with for the rest of this season and in a playoff push. It's going to be Lloyden or Cameron.
Chicago still leading Seattle in that game. It's 3-1 now. Chicago has scored again, so they have a 3-1 lead. If that holds up. Shot! Oh, just off the mark. Sky Blue looking to ice the game here in the second minute of the stoppage time. Just missing it was Schmidt.
And she tried to cut that ball back across the face of the goal.
As Ashley Nick goes up and wins a header there. Schmidt trying to defend. Desperate moments here. Here comes Matheson. Matheson well off the mark. Never threatening.
And that's what Sky Blue would have wanted. Matheson just to try to challenge the keeper from 30 yards out or so. It was never going to be a dangerous situation for Lloyden.
That might have been the last gasp. Elvis Mahmutovic checks his watch. This one put back into play, no whistle yet. Washington trying one last gasp here, but Sky Blue wins possession and wins the match. Sky Blue FC get the full 3 points here with a 1-0 victory. Monica Ocampo yet again the goal scorer in the 58th minute. It was all Sky Blue FC would need, threatening more during the match. Washington did well to parry it away, but could never really get that last bit of pressure on Joe Lloyden. And in the end, Sky Blue FC a much-needed 3 points on the evening with a 1-0 victory over the Washington Spirit.
Yeah, and it had to be Ocampo tonight. She was dangerous from the onset. Had 2 golden opportunities she couldn't converted on one of the more physically challenging plays that you'll see. Very exciting. Put herself in the danger area. Was able to get the easy tap in, and critical victory for Sky Blue. Puts them in the playoff race. And with that being said, now they have 2 games that they're going to have to play away from home, Brett. But as I always mention, I like those opportunities for away teams. Pressure's always on the home team. Can they go and get 6 points and perhaps catapult them back in the first or second position to host a playoff game, or are they going to have to go on the road? Those are things that remain to be seen, but certainly for Coach Gabarra, this is what his team needed. They needed to get their confidence back. They needed to win a game, and for me, this Washington team, they came out, they were full of running, they were organized, defensive, didn't really have that much going forward, gave a great fight in valor, but Sky Blue was able to overcome that and get that 1-0 victory, which they also needed.
So it's now Sky Blue FC tied with Portland for second. So it's 34 points, same as Portland. Of course, Portland playing tomorrow have played 2 less games, one after tomorrow's match against Kansas City. But a big, big win for Sky Blue FC and puts the pressure really on both Portland and Kansas City to get a result.
Absolutely it does, and as long as they take care of what they need to do and come on out and perform well in their final 2 home matches, they're going to be in a very good position heading into the playoffs, and that's one of the things that you need. You need your team to be in good form at the end of the season. They've gone through their ebbs and flows this year. They've had some down moments. They have some very good moments. But tonight you have to put in as one of those good moments tonight, Brett. The team's going to have that confidence back. They're going to go on the road, and now they're going to try to look to solidify a first or second playoff spot.
We're waiting Dan Laletta to get an interview here post-game. The updated playoff race here. Kansas City and Portland, of course, top of the table, 35 and 34 points respectively. Now Sky Blue on 34 points. Western New York at 31 points. And Boston, now Sky Blue cannot be caught by Boston. So Boston's only chance of making the playoffs is catching Western New York. That's their only shot at making the playoffs now. And they're 7 points behind Boston with 3 matches remaining. So it's going to be a very difficult task for the Boston Breakers. Chicago up right now. They'll be on 26 points, but that too, very difficult. Chicago will have a glimmer of hope. And Sky Blue FC goes and visits Chicago next weekend.
Yeah, and they've performed well against Chicago. They've created opportunities. They've gone forward. They've looked to attack. And really, for me, that's what really sets them up for the playoffs as this season comes down to a conclusion. You want to make sure your team is intact the last 2 games. You're going to get a few injured players back. It's just going to be interesting. When do they put Devanna and Adams back? Do they hold them off for those final 2 games and rest them to be fresh for the playoffs? Do they try to play them and form a team to try to have a little bit more continuity and rhythm as the playoffs go? So some tough decisions still for Sky Blue and the coaching staff to make, but you have to be very happy that now they have the opportunity to make the run to win a championship, Brett.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, 1-0 our final score here. Monica Ocampo once again playing here her 6th goal of the season, and the 58th, the only goal of the match. And for Ocampo, mind you, she's scored 6 goals. It's now her 2nd game winner, both of them against this Washington Spirit squad.
Yeah, and she likes to play against the Spirit squad. She has one more time where she's going to have to face them away, but certainly she's delivered the goods when they've been needed, Ocampo. She's been ever so vital to the Sky Blues campaign during the course of the season. Her and a healthy Devanna, it's just whether or not they can play together at the same time. Can they both be healthy? They've both been hampered by injuries. As you can see, Sky Blue really in applause as they huddle around the center of the circle for their team meeting, but you have to be very confident if you're Sky Blue. They create a lion's share of the chances against any team they play. Now it's a conversion rate that's going to come in that has to be on top for them, and if they do so, they're going to be one of the favorites to win the championship, Brad.
Again, it's one of those things that really any of these top 4 squads, and we talked about it off the air before the game, any of these top 4 squads can step in, win the championship. There isn't, the way that the league has gone this year, there isn't a clear-cut favorite as to who's going to be number one. So, if you're to handicap it, you can't. Because, Portland, Portland maybe has a little bit of an advantage as we were trying to get an interview, but I don't think Dan Loletta will be able to snag one. So, unfortunately, we won't be able to work on an interview here, the last one. So, any of these 4 teams, really, it's the way it's shaping up, can win it.
Yeah, and I certainly would like Sky Blue's chances because of the fact that they have good goalkeeping play, stellar defensive presence in the middle of the park, and they also go forward collectively as a unit. If they can get Devada healthy, if they can keep Ocampo healthy, they have some good attacking options, more so than rest of the teams, and those are one of the things that puts them over the top for me. I like them going forward into the playoffs. They still have a lot to do in these final 2 games, but let's see if they can do it and get it done and make that championship run that they're so used to making around here, Brett.
Actually, we are going to get an interview as we've finally lined up somebody. Dan Loletta's got, as soon as we get him down there, Dan Loletta with Jill Lloyden. Go ahead, Dan.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with esteemed New Jersey and Jill Lloyden. Jill, first start in front of the home crowd and a win and the clean sheet. How did it feel?
Awesome for us to get back on the right track, headed toward playoffs. Great crowd tonight, great weather, team played well, got the W, so that's all that matters.
How frustrating was it, or how much more pleasing is it to be able to be in the lineup after you broke your hand and had to miss so much time sitting behind Brittany?
Brittany did a great job, and I just tried to stay patient and just do my job every day in practice and continue to recover and get better in training every day. And I'm happy and pleased with the opportunity that's put before me, and I really just want to take advantage of it and help the team as much as I can.
Jill, thanks a lot.
Yep.
Brett, Eric, it's been a pleasure this season. Hopefully we can do it again next season. Sending it back up to you guys for the last word.
Thank you very much. Great job out of you, Dan, this season. Great job out of Danielle as well. And of course, Sean Bretherick helping me with the spotting tonight and everything. So closing thoughts here as we wrap up our broadcast schedule here on YouTube.
Well, it's certainly been a great season for Sky Blue. They're going to finish somewhere in the top 4. They're going to make the playoffs, which is all you could have asked for as this season started. Can they get one of the top 2 spots and make that championship run? We expect it around here. I'm sure the organization and the coaching staff expects them to be there. They have the tools to do it. They have the players. Do they have that championship mentality? And can they get the job done? But certainly for me, they have to be one of the favorites, if not the favorite, when the playoffs start because of the ability for them to create goal-scoring chances, Brett.
Our final score here, Sky Blue FC 1 and Washington Spirit 0. Want to thank Patrick Donnelly with the NWSL back at headquarters there for setting up the broadcast all season long here on YouTube. Thomas Hofstetter and Mike Muldoon helping us out here along with everybody here behind the scenes with Sky Blue FC, John Archibald as well here at the stadium doing a yeoman's effort here at the stadium. Sean Bretherick with the production, helping out with the spotting as well. Danielle Diavanzo pregame, halftime, also helped out with the camera down the stretch here. Dan Loletta, he of Equalizer Soccer and Loletta's Lowdown. Check that out at equalizersoccer.com. And, of course, my broadcast partner, Eric Studnicki. Good working with you again, buddy.
Likewise, and another good season for Sky Blue. Let's see if they can culminate it with a championship. But certainly, as you mentioned, a class organization, great players, great atmosphere to work, championship environment.
Our final score here from Yurcak Field, Sky Blue FC 1 and the Washington Spirit 0. For everyone here at Yurcak, we're thankful that you tuned in to Sky Blue FC Soccer during the season, and we bid you good night from Piscataway. Stay tuned to the NWSL all throughout the rest of the season and the playoffs on Fox Soccer Channel. From Yurcak, good night, everyone.